last webinar, we went very deep into a variety of different topics, and today we're going to dive into a few that will really help you in terms of moving the needle as it relates to taking those viewers, those people who are viewing your content, and turning them into customers, so making that transaction take place. For a little bit of housekeeping, the session will be recorded, so you will be able to get access to all of this afterwards, as well as you'll have the ability to download a PDF of all of the slides. So don't worry about kind of trying to screenshot everything and capture it all. You will have access to all of this information after the webinar itself is held. To give you guys a little bit of background, I'm not sure if everyone was in attendance for the last webinar, so I'll give you a quick rundown of kind of what we talked about. So the last webinar for Webinar Wednesday is on the Tie-Ins website. You can check that out also on their YouTube channel. It highlights a variety of different topics that should be kind of considered a precursor to what we're going to be talking about today. And it's really, that session was really all about laying the foundation for your online presence. The primary things that we talked about were things like your actual web presence, so what story you were telling when people came to your website, the value of storytelling in this digital world that we live in today. We talked about social media marketing as a whole and how you could leverage tools like Facebook, Twitter, to really convey your message more effectively. We talked about content marketing and how you can create content that really resonates with people. And we briefly talked about TripAdvisor as well. Overall, what we talked about was the very fundamentals of what you need to get started, what you need to really tell your story in a meaningful way, in a way that will connect with people. Today's session, similar to the last, is very much focused around the tourism experience and the tourism funnel. So a lot of the concepts, a lot of the examples we discuss will be focused around tourism. I do believe, regardless of your industry, you will be able to find a lot of value in this. So thank you guys for coming. I'm looking forward to sharing some insights with you around how you can turn your visitors into customers. At the end of the day, when we look at the entire landscape of online and we look at the tourism industry as a whole, things have shifted. Things have changed dramatically. The way that we interact with our customers, the way that our customers are finding us has changed, and there's no question about that. We've gone from a world of sending out a mass variety of brochures to people's inboxes to a world where their decisions are happening on their own time, where their decisions, where the inspiration around whether they should come to Nova Scotia, whether they should go to your museum, your restaurant, your hotel, the way that that transaction takes place and the influences that come into play as it relates to deciding where you're going to go or what you're going to do, it's coming from a variety of different channels. And what we need to do as marketers and as brands is understand what channels we can use to be more effective in how we connect with people. So instead of looking at social media as being solely sending out tweets or solely sending out Facebook updates, we need to understand that there's a variety of different touch points, and how can we increase the number of touch points that we have with our customers, that we have with our potential customers, to really drive meaningful results. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how things have changed. We're going to talk about a few new channels that have really started to shake up things in the tourism space, how you can utilize them, and how you can tell your story more effectively. When it comes to leisure travel, online is one of the primary sources for kind of finding that inspiration. So when people are looking for inspiration as it relates to where they're going to go next, or when they're actually in a location and they're trying to figure out where are we going to go for supper, they're relying on online sources such as TripAdvisor, such as friends who may be commenting on their Facebook posts, or tweets that they may be sending to a variety of different restaurants, and then they're making their decisions based off of those interactions. So what we need to do is understand how we can be present when all of this conversation is occurring. How can we be present to influence those decisions to be aligned with our business and our goals? That's what we're going to get to at the core of today's webinar and today's session, is how you can truly make a difference in influencing both the inspiration and the acquisition as it relates to kind of saying, this is something that I'm going to do. So when a user is starting to browse on Instagram or they're checking out your Facebook page, how can you ensure that that is going to translate into something meaningful for your business? That's what we're going to talk about today. The amount of time that people are spending on there is significant. The amount of time people are spending online is more than it's ever been, and this is a trend that is constantly changing, and it's changing in the positive. And the reason why is because it's becoming so easy now for us to be connected. whether we're connected through our phones, whether we're connected through iPads and devices, we're constantly plugged in. And because consumers are so plugged into technology, it's often becoming overwhelming for brands and for marketers to say, okay, there's all of these different things going on. What channel is right for me? What channel should I be using? And this is a conversation that I've had with people in tourism operators, with brands, with people from all over the world for many years. Should I use Snapchat? Should I use Foursquare? Should I invest in Pinterest? Should I be using Tumblr, LinkedIn, Twitter? At the end of the day, there's so many channels out there. There's so many options available. You have to figure out what's right for you. I would never recommend that at the end of this webinar series, after you listen to me, after you go through the Google sessions, that you actually say, I'm going to try all of this. I strongly recommend that you do not do that because you'll burn out. It'll be like trying to drink out of a fire hydrant. It'll be just too much. So what I would recommend is that you identify a few channels that work for you. Identify a few channels that you've seen have worked for your competitors, that have worked for people in a similar space but in a different place, and then capitalize on the insights and the information that you can gather by studying them and their behaviors. Say, okay, maybe I should try YouTube, or maybe I should try Twitter, or maybe I should invest more into Facebook advertising. And when you find those channels, you have to ensure that this is where your audience is. Whether you're talking to young families, whether you're talking to foodies, whether you're talking to women, teens, baby boomers, you name it, you need to understand where your audience is. And I can't reiterate this point enough because it really comes down to that the audience is the key. If you understand your audience and you know who they are and who you're trying to convey a message to, you will succeed online. The worst thing that you can do in social media, the worst thing you can do in marketing is to try to tell a story that resonates with everyone. If you can identify a solo audience, somebody who would be interested in your product, interested in the experience that you're offering, or interested in your restaurant, whatever that may be, if you can find that person and you can define what their needs are, what their motivations are, what type of things are interesting to them, you will be able to differentiate yourself from the competitors. Because one of the biggest advantages that you could have today is by being single-focused and single-minded in terms of how you're telling your story. Because everyone is trying to connect with everyone. But in reality, the messages that share and the messages that resonate with people are those that feel as if they're directly tailored to me. If you show me a message and it's tailored to me, I'm more likely to resonate with it. It's a simple logic. People connect with things that are directly associated with themselves. That's why if you go on Facebook and you're running a handful of ads and you're showing a mother and her kid and you target that ad solely to mothers and their kids, there's going to be a higher click-through rate amongst mothers than it would be amongst 18-year-old boys because it's relevant. So you need to find your audience, you need to understand what's interesting to them, and ensure that the story that you're telling connects with them in a meaningful way. We spent a lot of time talking about finding the right audience and how to tailor your message to them in the last webinar. So again, if you didn't check out that webinar, I definitely recommend that you go back to YouTube, check that out, because it's a great recap on how you can find your audience and how you can tell a story to them more effectively. So today we're talking about turning visitors into customers. And how can you do that? Well, there's two key ways in terms of how you can turn your visitors into customers. The first one is through compelling content. And we're going to talk about compelling content today on a variety of new channels. Last time we talked about compelling content as it related to a variety of different networks such as Facebook and Twitter. But today we're going to talk about compelling content as it relates to the visual space. So there's a lot of visual marketing tools coming out over the last few years, and they're a great opportunity for tourism, and for tourism operators, and we're going to talk about why they're so important and why imagery and visuals are so powerful in this space. We're also going to talk about effective advertising. A lot of people are spending money on advertising without actually knowing why they're spending money on advertising. I've been there, we've all seen it. So what we need to do is we need to ensure that the advertising efforts that we're implementing, the advertising campaigns that we're running are actually moving the needle. And in today's session, we're going to talk about some of the best tips and tricks of the trade as it relates to advertising and how you can be more effective. So I'm very excited to dive into that. I think there's going to be some cool insights that you may not be aware of that are opportunities through Facebook advertising, through Twitter as well, and I think that you're going to really get a lot out of that. I think that there's some things that are available in the Facebook advertising picture that not a lot of people are aware of, and I'm excited to share those with you guys today. So when we talk about visual marketing and we talk about all of these new channels such as Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube even, people tend to say, I'm just going to stick to Twitter. I'm just going to stick to Facebook. I don't want to try something new. Well, let me make a case for something new for you. 90% of the information transmitted to the brain is visual. And visuals as a whole are processed 60,000 times faster in the brain than text. We are visual beings. I mean, like when you think about it, it all starts with research like this. As humans, we are hardwired to be more receptive to visuals. We process visuals faster and we connect with them in a more meaningful way. It's why when we're kids, they give us picture books. It's because we love simply scrolling through those pages and seeing imagery. It's why we can go on our news feeds and scroll for hours getting lost in photos of our old friends. It's because we are visual creatures. When you understand that, and when you look at stats like this, it makes so much sense to place an emphasis and to invest in visual content. So I'm making the case that this is something that you need to do. This is something that you need to really consider, because visual marketing is here to stay. Most recently, Twitter rolled out this the picture embeds directly into your tweets. So before you would have to click on an image and then go see it on a secondary site, but now they have allowed for their images to show up directly in your Twitter feed. And the same has happened on Facebook, where Facebook is increasing the amount of space for your visuals in your newsfeed. This is a huge opportunity. These social networks, these companies are starting to realize that people are connecting with photos more than text. They're connecting with photos more than a simple tweet, right? Like if you send out a tweet and it has an image, studies have shown that there's a better chance that that tweet is going to generate engagement than a tweet without an image. So you need to invest in the idea of putting high quality visuals into your content. And it starts with not just what you're sharing on social, but also your website. So you want to ensure that the visuals, when somebody comes to your website, are compelling and that they tell a compelling story. Because tourism as a whole is a very visual industry. When you look at NovaScotia.com, for example, and you're looking through the different listings, there are a handful of listings, but only a few have those captivating photos. And if you have captivating photos, you're more likely to have that content clicked on. People can start to envision in their mind what it would be like to visit your experience, to actually go to your bed and breakfast, to go to your hotel, to try your restaurant, and that is powerful. Right? Like that's when you have the opportunity to truly inspire people to take action. And NovaScotia.com is offering a compelling content opportunity, and I definitely recommend, again, that you reach out to Tiffany or them directly to get more information on that. But there's a great opportunity where they'll actually help you in creating this great content in terms of getting photography and developing compelling content that will allow your listing to convey your message in a more effective way. So I definitely recommend that you check that out, and I definitely recommend that you ensure that there's visuals on everything from your website to your listings on NovaScotia.com. When it comes to Instagram, I want to talk about Instagram as a whole because it's a channel that has really started to change the way people interact, and it's one that tourism operators all over the world are capitalizing on, and I would love to see more in the local space. So to, again, demonstrate the power of this thing, 55 million photos are uploaded, 86.4 million comments are posted, and 691.2 million likes are generated every single day on Instagram. Like, that's significant. So when you are looking at numbers like this, it's clear that Instagram is a channel that is here to stay. Facebook bought it for nearly $1 billion. And it wasn't because it was just a fluke or a flip of a coin. It was because they see the value in visuals, and they see the value of a simple channel, a simple communications tool where people can upload their photos, they can interact, they can consume the content, and then distribute it amongst their peers and their friends. Visual marketing is here to stay. It's also seen in channels like Snapchat, where 400 million Snapchats are open every single day. 55 million photos are uploaded to Instagram every single day. Like, these numbers speak volumes. And we're going to talk briefly today about Snapchat It's still very new, but it's a channel that, again, has an opportunity in the visual marketing space for tourism operators, brands as a whole. It just needs to be capitalized on in the correct way. So Instagram. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about Instagram now just because it is the #1 visual channel with the visuals as its primary focus. Still, don't get me wrong, Facebook as it relates to photos is still an amazing platform and can still drive significant results. So a lot of the thinking as it relates to Instagram content can also be applied to Facebook and Twitter as well. Just because Instagram is solely focused around the visual content, that's the channel that we're going to spend a lot of time focusing on right now. So when it comes to Instagram, the first thing you need to do is get started. And we're going to talk about today getting your account set up, how to market effectively, and then a few tips and tricks on how you can take your Instagram account to the next level. So this is a basic Instagram account. If you're not familiar with Instagram, this is what an account looks like. You're looking at right here Starbucks. When you look at their profile, it's very straight to the point, very simplistic. First, you have to set up an account, right? Like, this isn't rocket science, so I'm not going to talk about it for too long, but you need a profile picture, which I always recommend, similar to last week's webinar. You try to use an iconic visual, something that is an avatar, such as a logo, your iconic place. You don't want to use a piece of something that is more abstract, like a shot of a coffee mug, unless it has your logo on it, because that coffee mug could belong to anyone. You want to ensure that it's something that is associated directly with your brand. You want to include a very concise and to-the-point bio, and you want to ensure that you actually have a URL directing people back to your website. So again, one of the things that we're going to talk about today is turning those viewers into customers. If you're on Instagram and you don't have a link to your actual website, you're probably missing out on a huge opportunity to drive traffic back to that channel. So always optimize it. There's 4 different types of content that do extremely well on Instagram. Brand-centric content, which we'll talk about. Reactive storytelling as a whole, which is something that we've talked about before, and I'll dive into that. Behind-the-scenes content, inspirational and motivational quotes as well. And that one is not something that is very much a obvious opportunity for tourism, but we will talk about how it can be as well. So brand-centric content is content that is specifically linked to your overarching brand story, meaning it recognizes your value proposition and what your audience thinks of you, and it delivers that message in a way that reinforces the positive attributes associated with your brand as a whole. What does that mean exactly? So branded content, here's 2 examples. One is Lay's and one is Lululemon. Lay's has a brand that can be always associated with things like happiness and comfort. So when you look at their Instagram account, you're seeing photos of people on the beach, you're seeing a picnic, you're seeing a variety of different things that kind of demonstrate happiness or just casualty or comfort in a sense. In the Lululemon example, you recognize this brand as something about healthy living or the yoga lifestyle. So they're sharing photos of strawberries, they're sharing photos of people being out in the wilderness, they're sharing photos of people doing yoga and backpacking, things of that nature. So they're really conveying a message that is relevant to their audience and to people who are uniquely intrigued by their brand as a whole. You can also see that they had those strawberries right there. And the reason why they're doing that is because they understand that on Instagram, food is really one of the #1 channels and one of the #1 types of content that people are following on this network. Between fitness, food, and motivational quotes, and health, like, Instagram is a huge opportunity, along with tourism shots, like people traveling and showing those amazing views. Instagram is an amazing channel and a great one for you to take an opportunity for. And Lulu's capitalizing on this by showing just a fresh bowl of strawberries. Here's an example of an Instagram post that kind of demonstrates the power of this. So this is a post. It's a company out of New York. They call themselves the Brunch Boys. They go around and they review a variety of different restaurants for brunch, and they take photos like this and they put them on Instagram. This photo, within 2 hours, was able to generate more than 18,000 likes. They have more than 67 comments, and as you can see on this right here, from Co on the Go, the second comment, brunch next Sunday. So she's mentioning someone who she's a friend with, tagging them about this post, saying, hey, do we want to do brunch next Sunday? And then Kristen's going to respond back and say, yeah, I'm definitely down for that. So these people, this company is essentially closing a deal directly here on Instagram by investing in powerful visuals, by showing an image that I'm drooling just looking at it, right? Like you show these types of images, you show this content that is truly engaging and connects with people on a one-to-one basis, and they're going to want to see it. They're going to like it, they're going to share it, they're going to tag friends in it, and they're probably going to turn into customers if it looks as good as this. Here's another example. So this is just fish and chips, right? So they've uploaded this photo. This is an actual restaurant. So if you're in the restaurant space, what I'm trying to convey here is you're already creating this food. You're already putting this out. You're doing it every day. If you're a hotel and you're creating food, if you are an experience and you have people going out on bike rides, whatever that may be, whatever type of value offering you have for customers, capture it with camera. Capture it from a visual perspective and make those photos look rich and appealing, similar to this one here, and then upload it to Instagram. And when you do that, people start to resonate with it. And the more frequency, the better. Like when you look at people like the Naughty Fork, this company who has put out this simple picture of fresh fish and chips, they've put it up on their Instagram account and they have 4,000 likes. And the reason why is because they're being frequent in their uploads. They're also doing a few tricks as it relates to hashtags and things like that, and I'll share some of those insights as we go along. One of the things that you should definitely also check out is Visit Nova Scotia's Instagram account. Like when you check out their Instagram account, you can see that they're putting up all of these different visuals that represent what's going on in Nova Scotia, and it's, again, very simple. You upload a photo, you put it up, and then you use a hashtag. So a hashtag is similar to a hashtag on Twitter. Here you can see right on the Visit Nova Scotia's profile, it says tag hashtag Visit Nova Scotia for a chance to be featured. Guys, this is where you have an opportunity to take your brand and place it in front of 26,000 people. So if you have an amazing scenery, if you have an amazing shot that you've taken, upload it to Instagram, use this hashtag, and then maybe Visit Nova Scotia will actually feature your content directly on their newsfeed, placing you in front of 26,000 people. The power here cannot be overstated. Like when you think about a TV ad, the chances that you're going to actually reach with one TV ad 26,000 people who are engaged and relevant to Nova Scotia, actually care about your business, care about your industry, care about what you're doing, is very unlikely. But when you use Instagram or you leverage somebody else's following, similar to Nova Scotia tourism, you have an opportunity to truly stand out. It's also an opportunity where you can start to tag Explore Canada, who has an even larger account, use this hashtag, and you can start to really benefit from that distribution of your content. So capture images, share them on Instagram, be sure to tag people who are willing to kind of promote them, and you'll also see influencers who will repost your content. Or start to reach out to you asking if they can check it out. So definitely capitalize on this. It's a great opportunity where you can capture some images. It doesn't take a lot of time, and then just start uploading them over the course of a month or a year to your Instagram account. So another opportunity is reactive marketing, and reactive storytelling is a very straightforward process, but it's one that works extremely well in the social media space. It's when you take a top-of-mind, interesting story and you combine it with a brand relevant marketing message. And when you do that, when you combine both of these things, you can create magic. So what does that mean? Let me quickly explain it to you if you're not familiar with reactive storytelling. So Lululemon, when the royal family announced that they were having a boy a few years back, they put up this post and it said Fresh Prince. And they showed the Lululemon logo and they put that little crown on top. They put that on Instagram, and it generated thousands and thousands of likes. It was shared on Twitter plenty of times, and it generated a significant amount of buzz. This is what reactive storytelling is all about. So if there's something going on in the news, if there's something going on in the press, you want to create content and share it on your account that is taking both a brand marketing message and that top-of-mind story and conveying it to your audience. And we'll show a few examples of that later on as well. You also, on Instagram, want to show people behind the scenes. So let people see who it is that will be taking them on a tour, or show them who they're going to meet when they walk into your front door. Show them your staff, show them your chefs, show them the people who are behind the scenes. These are two examples. Again, like this is from Steam Whistle Brewing, a brewing company. They are showing the team packaging up the boxes. So what kind of things are going on behind the scenes that you can show your audience to really resonate with them and show them that you're real people? Because people do business with people. They don't do business with brands. When you can actually convey to them that you are a person behind this organization, they're going to be more likely to be loyal, and ultimately they'll be more likely to share your content and go from a viewer to a customer. So again, one of the items that is often seen on Instagram and is extremely successful is inspirational quotes. And the reason why inspirational quotes work well is because it connects with us on an emotional level. You look at these two posts. One's from Lululemon, where it just says, happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from our own actions, from the Dalai Lama. That type of post gets a lot of love on Instagram. So when you're thinking about your brand and you have an amazing photo of maybe the ocean, or maybe you have an amazing photo of people on your beach, whatever that may be, just put a little bit of inspirational quote on top of it. People will resonate with it. They'll start to comment. They'll tag their friends, as you're seeing here, where people are telling their friends they have to check out this quote, and it becomes really powerful. Inspirational quotes do extremely well. We all know that one person on our Facebook page that is always sharing them. It's because they work. It's because they resonate with us on an emotional level, and people connect with that stuff. People don't want to follow a brand that is a Debbie Downer. They want to follow a brand that will make them feel good about themselves or make them feel a little bit inspired. And sure, a lot of you will say that it's cheesy, but it works. At the end of the day, inspirational quotes and anything that inspires people can truly help you convey your message in a meaningful way and resonate with people on a human level. So there's a few other things that you can do on Instagram that can take your account to the next level. There's user-generated content from a contesting perspective. There's hashtags, and then there's call to actions on your imagery. So these are a few little growth hacks that you can actually leverage to kind of take your account to the next level. And we all have that person on our Instagram account who uses way too many hashtags. So what I'm going to show you today is how you can use hashtags effectively without looking like a spammer as well. So one company that's doing contesting very well is Frank and Oak. So every Friday they run this contest called Necktie Fridays, where they encourage guys from all over the world to upload a photo of their necktie for a chance to win one of their neckties. So they're getting their customers engaged, or even their potential customers engaged, because if somebody is wearing a necktie, they're obviously someone who would be interested in their product. Frank and Oak is a men's clothing store. So what they do is they say, upload a photo of you with your necktie, and we're going to scroll through, find the person who has the best tie, and then we're going to give you one of ours for free. So they have all of these people all over the world uploading photos of their ties, tagging Necktie Friday as a hashtag, and then ultimately driving people to this contest to kind of check it out. So they're able to capitalize on a very targeted audience while also inspiring people to create content for them. Another great contest, this is one that one of my companies have done, where we partnered with a bigger brand that had a large following on Instagram, and we just told them, like, get people to tag their friends on this post for a chance to enter the contest. So it's very straightforward. You put up a post and you say, tag your friends for a chance to enter. And the benefit from that is all of your friends that you're tagging are then going to see the content itself, and then they're more likely to follow you as a whole. So you can hold this on your own page. You can partner with someone else to do it as well, and they can run the contest. There's a lot of opportunities. So for an example, let's say you're a restaurant. You take a picture of a beautiful four-course meal kind of set up with the candlelight dinner, maybe, whatever that may be. It's before Valentine's Day, and you take a photo of this setup and you say, tag the person who you would want to spend Valentine's Day with, or tag the person that you love for a chance to win a romantic dinner for two. Everybody starts tagging their friends in the comment section of your post on Instagram, and then their friends start actually following you as well. So you're increasing your following, you're making people aware of the product that you're offering, and you're also conveying to them a powerful image. So if you can show them a great visual of that dinner for two, they're going to be more likely to, one, maybe even come to your restaurant if you haven't offered them the prize. So if they don't win, they might still come just because they were blown away by the layout that you had set up. So there's a lot of unique opportunities that exist on Instagram, and I definitely recommend investing a little bit of time into the contesting space. So hashtags are a conversation that I have often with people, and a lot of brands don't do it right, but you can do it correctly and not look like a spammer. So the reason why I say look like a spammer is if you're scrolling through Instagram and you see an account that looks like this, where there's nothing but hashtags all over the place, you're likely going to say, okay, I'm not following this person. You're likely going to be unfollowed because it's over the top, it's way too much going on, and this person is clearly just trying to get a whole bunch of reach for their content. And when their message is as simple as steak and eggs, you're like, okay, that's pointless, right? So what you want to do, instead of putting all of your hashtags right here at the top with your caption, you want to put up your Instagram post, and then in your first comment, similar to what they've done here, is use your hashtags there. So you're going to go into Instagram, you're going to put up a caption with your text, so it could just say steak and eggs. You're going to press publish. That goes out. It doesn't have all of these hashtags in it. You're then going to go back to that same post and comment with all of your hashtags. Those hashtags that you have in your first comment aren't going to show up when people start engaging with your post. So as more comments come into your post, that starts to disappear. I'm going to show you shortly how that actually looks and how it works. So hashtags are one of the primary channels for finding new content. So if you go into Instagram and you're looking for hashtags, you will find that there are hundreds, if not millions, of posts being shared with certain hashtags. So one of the things I recommend is that you actually invest some time finding the hashtags that are right for you. And I'm going to show you quickly how that works and how you can do that. So I think you guys can see my screen. I'm going to quickly just show you on Instagram how that works. So this is Instagram. This is my company's account. You go into the search bar itself, and you can type in things like foodie, right? So say you're targeting people who are interested in food. You type in the hashtag foodie, like I've just done here, and then you can start to see some of the best posts that have been used, that have been shared with that hashtag. So I look at this, I'm like, okay, that's interesting, that's cool. I can click on it, and I can see what other hashtags people are using. I see these hashtags, I can copy and paste them, put them in a Word doc, and then come back to them later and say, these are hashtags that I'm going to use. I can do the same for this post. So this one, it only has one hashtag, Eat Guide. I could use that as well. Click on here, see what they have used for their hashtags, and they've taken the strategy that I'm trying to recommend to you. So they put up the post with the caption, as you can see here, where it's a very straightforward caption, to the point, no hashtags are used, it doesn't look spammy. Then in their first comment, they use all of these different hashtags. So clean eats, eat for abs, eats with a bunch of E's. They share this content, and Instagram still picks up all of these hashtags. The only difference is when you click it, you don't know that they've used hashtags to have this post show up. The only way that you'll see it is if you click view all comments. So when you're scrolling through your newsfeed, this person doesn't look like they're spamming. So this is the recommendation of exactly how you should be distributing your content on Instagram. You put up the caption first, and then you comment with your hashtags below. So I'm going to dive back into this. Another channel that is great for finding hashtags is this one here. So it's called tophashtags.com. Really quickly, just want to make sure that everyone can see everything I'm talking about. Can you just comment and let me know that you're able to see my slide again? Just say yes. Perfect. All right. So tophashtags.com is a great website. If you check it out, you're actually able to type in what you're interested in and then be given a handful of different hashtags at once. Once you have this block of hashtags, some of them will be relevant, some of them won't. So for example, this one here, this big block of hashtags won't be relevant to you unless you're running like an Irish bar, but it says like love Dublin, Insta Dublin, Ireland, love Ireland. That won't be relevant to you. But maybe if you're in the vegan space, something like this will be, where it's talking about clean eating, avocado, National Toast Day, all of those different things. So you want to find hashtags that are relevant to you, and this is a great domain that will help you do that. One of the other things that you want to do on Instagram is have call to action. So a call to action is when you tell people to do something. And you'd be surprised how easy it is to get users to do something by simply saying it. So Here's an example from Brisk. They do this all the time. You would have seen it on the last slide. They're just saying double tap your favorite flavor. So they're telling people to double tap their flavor, which is similar to a like. So if somebody taps it twice, that's automatically a like. And by them doing that, they were able to get 310 likes. Now, mind you, this was a post that was distributed and shared 24 months ago. So if you do this today, you're likely to see that maybe triple in terms of the amount of engagement and the amount of likes. Here's another example from Frank and Oak where their call to action is very strategic. So one of the things that people struggle with Instagram is the fact that you can't just share a link. But what you can do is you can upload that link in your bio. So remember when I talked about uploading that link to be your website? I still stand by that recommendation, but don't be afraid to change it once in a while. So what Frank and Oak has done is they put up this post with these shoes. They say, check out the link in our bio, and then they're driving people back to this domain, and they're clicking it. So you can see that the domain is Gray Sneakers. So it's specific to this. So if you have a certain special or an offer that's available at a specific URL, you can drive people back to that. Or if you have a contest that you're holding, or if your menu is new and you want to drive people to that, you can tell people to click the link in your bio, drive them to that piece of content in particular, and they can consume it. Here's another great example of how to use Instagram effectively, telling people to tag your friends. So it's a very simple approach, but it's one that can work wonders. So we put up this post for our company, and we just said, tag a friend that inspires you. And then as a result, you can see we had more than 100 people tag their friends. So they started tagging their friends. They started telling their friends, oh, I love you, because their friend tagged them and saying that they inspired them. It was amazing. So what you're able to do is you can start taking photos of maybe a beautiful dinner on the beach and saying, tag the friend that you would want to visit you here. Or if you have a hammock somewhere, you can take a picture of the hammock and say, tag a person who you would want to enjoy 20 minutes with hanging outside by the hammock, whatever that may be. You can come up with this content on your own and associate it with your business to really drive that virality and that constant number of shares. Another opportunity is bringing influencers into the mix. So influencers on Instagram have started to really create their own niche and create a whole new opportunity for businesses. Similar to what I did with the hashtag, so I'm not going to dive into it too far, but if you go into your search bar on Instagram and you start to type in things like foodie bloggers or travel bloggers, you'll start to find people who do this for a living. And if they happen to be in Nova Scotia, why not reach out to them and get them to actually come to your place, create content for you, take photos similar to what the Balloon Diary has done here, where they're taking photos at a resort in Bali. Find these influencers, get them to create content, and then start reusing that content on your own site, on your own Instagram account, and also benefiting from the fact that they're going to tell your story for you. So you should consider that as an opportunity as well. So that's Instagram. Now I want to briefly talk about Snapchat as a whole. So Snapchat is a very simple channel. It's sort of like Instagram, except the images disappear. So and it's not only images, there's also video in the mix. So you can record a video, you can send it to someone, they can watch that video, and then it disappears. Or you can send them a photo, and then that photo disappears after a few seconds. These are two examples of a snap. So you can see this guy, he sent a snap, and it just says, my milkshake brings all the girls to the yard, and it shows two cows behind him. Very clever, very funny. You send these snaps to people, they disappear very quickly. So it's just video content, but the power of it is you're getting people's attention. Here's an example again. So it's Paris Life, where a bunch of people are able to upload a filter to their snap, which would be a video or an image that they've taken, and then it kind of brands it for them, and then they can send that to all of their followers and all of their friends. And if you go to different destinations, if you try it for Halifax, for example, if you start scrolling through, you'll see that there's an actual Halifax geo filter, which means a little design like this that people are using and sending it to their colleagues and their peers. So Snapchat is an interesting opportunity. It's still relatively new, but it's a channel that tourism operators should definitely be aware of. The way that it works, very straightforward. You can take a photo or make a video. Once you've created that content, you can write on top of it. You can actually write text. You can draw on it, similar to what I've done in this photo here. You can set a timer as it relates to how long you want the other person to be able to view it, and then you can send it to a variety of different people. So you can send it to individuals as a whole, or you can upload it to a story. And a story is sort of like your own personal profile where people can see what you're doing all the time. So they go into Snapchat, they see your story, and then you're constantly uploading video content for them to consume as a whole. Lots of businesses are starting to jump on it, especially in the tourism space as it relates to restaurants and food establishments. There's a couple hotels that are using it. Taco Bell is on it, as you can see from this message here. They're simply sending out snaps that are showing product launches, new things that they're rolling out, things like that. The first step to jumping on Snapchat and using it effectively is to announce that you're there. It's pointless to be on Snapchat if there's no one following you, so you really do want to invest in growing your following. So share it on Instagram, share it on Facebook, share it in your email newsletters, promote it like crazy to really start to benefit from it effectively. It is a great channel to use, but you need to build up your audience to kind of make it happen. What's cool about Snapchat is that in this world where it's a battle for attention, not a lot of people are ignoring Snapchats. If you receive a snap, you're likely to open it. And the reason why is because it's still so new that people are intrigued by the fact that they're receiving a snap from someone. They're opening their snaps with interest. They're opening their snaps with the idea of, oh, what's this going to be? So you're able to capitalize on someone's undivided attention, because when they see that video, when they see that come through their phone, their device, they're consuming that content and they're not multitasking. There's no other tweets surrounding it. There's no other snaps surrounding it. They're one-on-one with you and the content that you have actually sent them. So it's a channel that I definitely recommend people consider. And as time goes, it's going to continue to kind of build momentum. Another option within it that just rolled out last week is these custom geo filters. So a few slides back, I showed you that Paris Life visual on top of the snap. You can actually pay, I think, anywhere from $60 to $150 to actually have a custom geo filter for your location. So if you're having people at an event, you can actually pay for a geo filter that is specific to you, specific to your location. Snapchat will approve it, and then you can have that distributed. It's a great opportunity for brands to kind of tell their story and let people tell their story for them by making it easy for them to convey where they're actually at. So at the end of the day, we talked about the influence that digital and social was having on people's buying experience as it relates to finding that inspiration. And search, and search was one of the primary channels. Search was one of the primary reasons and ways that people were using the internet to kind of find out where they wanted to go or find inspiration for what they wanted to do. So when you look at this, when you look at numbers like this and you're seeing that more and more people are using, I'm having some screen difficulties with GoToWebinar, so let's see. Are you guys able to see my screen? Perfect. Okay. So friends and families, the internet are primary channels in which people are using to find out where they should go. So what you need to do is understand that search drives a lot of this, right? Like the majority of inspiration starts with search. So people looking for answers to their questions. So YouTube happens to be one of the most popular search engines in the world. When it comes to tourism, it's a huge opportunity because it's where people are going to find information about the destinations they may visit. They're going there to find out about specific places where they may visit, location attractions, different travel products, travel brands as a whole. There's a lot of value in this. 71% of travel searches on YouTube are for destination names. So they're going to YouTube to type in things like Nova Scotia or Digby or Truro or the Eastern Shore, whatever that may be, Cape Breton. They're typing in these destination names on YouTube, and then they're looking for content that will help them figure out whether or not this is a good fit. They're also looking for family vacation ideas, so they're using those general terms. They're looking for local attractions. This tends to happen once they're actually at the location. So once they've arrived in Nova Scotia, they're going to YouTube and they're saying, where should I eat? What should I eat in Nova Scotia? Things like that. So there's a huge opportunity here as it relates to understanding what people are looking for, but also in delivering people the answers to these questions. So video content as a whole and how people are using it, they are viewed throughout the entire travel journey. So 66% of people are using YouTube and travel videos when they're thinking about making a trip, 52% when they're thinking about what type of trip, 65 when they're choosing the actual destination, 63 when they're looking for ideas on things that they should do while there, 54 when they're looking for an actual accommodation, and then 37 when they're figuring out which website to book on. So the reason why I'm saying this is because video content, similar to photos, have changed the entire tourism industry. And what you need to do is you need to recognize, okay, if people are investing this much time using YouTube, using video content to really make their decisions, this is something that I might need to invest in, or something I need to at least spend some time considering as an opportunity. Video reviews from users are truly starting to shape travel decisions. So you can look at this and you can say, okay, it only has 4,000 views, but that's 4,000 potential customers. Because if somebody is on YouTube and they're looking at a video review of my room at the Four Seasons Hotel in New York, it is very obvious that a random Joe who just happens to stumble along this video isn't going to watch it, right? The person who watches this video, the 4,000 and some people who watch this video, were very much likely, I'd say 99.9% likelihood, were making a decision of whether or not they should stay at the Four Seasons Hotel in New York or if they shouldn't. And that's potentially 4,000 people who they lost out on, that they missed out on as potential customers. So when you are recognizing that, you need to spend some time understanding if people are already creating these reviews about your website and putting them up on about your accommodations, about your restaurant, and putting them up on YouTube, ensuring that they're positive and then that they're not showing photos of bed bugs or something like that. You want to ensure that the content is high quality, and then maybe even consider inviting a few local reviewers or videographers to come and actually create this content for you. So when people are going to YouTube and they're trying to find out what your rooms look like, they can see it there. And the trends are showing that this is happening more and more, that people's decisions are being shaped by video content. 2 out of 3 U.S. consumers watch online travel videos when they're thinking about making a trip. So they're going to YouTube, they're typing in things like best burgers in New York, they're typing in best places to stay in Nova Scotia. They're using the video content to shape their decisions. So you want to do Google searches for restaurants in Cape Breton and see if you show up. You want to invest the time and energy to understand what story you're telling, your brand is telling on YouTube as well. These are the 5 things that people are primarily engaging with: travel vlogs, reviews, tours, the official travel brands, etc. Here's a great opportunity, and one that I don't think enough people capitalize on, and that's TripAdvisor. So on TripAdvisor in particular, the one thing that I think that people need to capitalize on is the opportunity to go into TripAdvisor forums and take advantage of people asking questions. Like when you talk about your customers and people who are truly in the moment looking for kind of what you're offering, it doesn't get much better than looking at the actual forums surrounding your actual location. So to get to that, you simply go to TripAdvisor, which you can see here. You click on the forum, which is down here. You'll go in, and there's tons of people having questions about what they should do in Halifax in your location. So this is someone who's commenting, and they're saying places to visit with a pre-teen. This is an opportunity for you to jump in and provide value. So this person is asking, looking for ideas on places to visit. They just put this up on February 19th. Today's the 24th. You come in, you start to provide them with value. If your brand, your company isn't necessarily built for preteens, that's okay. Just add value to this person's life. They're going to see your logo, they're going to see your name, they're going to see what company you represent, and then they might check out your business, and then they might actually visit you because you know that they're looking to build an itinerary. You know that they're looking to come here. So why not jump into the conversation, deliver them some value, and ultimately turn them from somebody who just viewed your content and turn them into a customer as a whole. So that's compelling content. The next thing I want to talk about is advertising. So on YouTube, there's 2 primary efforts, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because on March 9th, there will be a session on video content, but you can run ads before the video or you can run ads in the search results. Both are great options, but they're both in both cases, you want to ensure that the content you're driving people to is compelling and interesting. On March 16th, sorry, I got this mixed up, there will be a session all about making great video content. I strongly recommend you guys check this out. What I do want to talk about, though, is Facebook advertising. Facebook advertising is an opportunity that not a lot of people capitalize on correctly. You can run an ad for as little as $5 just to test it and see how it goes, but you need to do it strategically, and you need to do it the right way. The worst thing you can do is press this little boost button, because when you do boost on Facebook and you press that, you're advertising to everyone. You want to target people who are actually relevant and interested. A lot of people go through, they press the boost button, and they don't realize that you can actually edit this. So they're overlooking the fact that you can edit your location. So they're pressing boost and they're not actually modifying their targeting. You want to ensure that the people that you're targeting with the boost are actually relevant to you. Otherwise, you're going to press boost on this, like without actually seeing this fine print, and you're going to target all of Canada and all of the US, when in reality, you might only want to target people in New Brunswick. You might only want to target people in Nova Scotia. So be smart and be strategic around how you're running your campaigns. I recommend that you actually go directly into Facebook Ads Manager. To get there, you just go up to the search bar, type in Ads Manager, and then select the type of ad that you want to run. Do you want to just promote your content and get a little bit more boost? Do you want more likes on your Facebook page? You can select what it is that you want to actually achieve by identifying your objective. Once you've done that, you start to go into the actual back end, and this is where you can start to create some great ads and some great content. So you can see here, this is an ad from Coyote Blues out of Louisiana. They're putting up this Facebook post. The ad itself needs to have less than 20% as written text. So you can upload an image, but it has to be 20% or less text directly in it. You added headline, so they've used Coyote Blues Metairie as the headline. They put that right there. You have a newsfeed description, which goes into the bottom, and then you can actually change and modify the call to action. So with the call to actions, you can do things like book now, learn more, or get directions, which will actually see a map on your Facebook page. That's what I do recommend if you're targeting people who are traveling in Nova Scotia, things of that nature. It's a great opportunity for you to really convert people who are relevant to you. How do you be strategic in that sense? So you can do two things. One is called custom audiences, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But the second is just being more strategic with your targeting. So you can actually go in and you can target people based off their location. If you want to target people in Cape Breton, you can target people in Cape Breton. And you, with the content that you're using to target them, you could say, or you can convey to them, it's only a 4-hour drive from Cape Breton to Halifax or something like that. You can start to create messaging and ads that are very much tailored to your audience and increase the likelihood of getting them to actually come back and visit you or buy your product by making content and creating stories that are related directly to them. You can also do different languages. You can target based on men, women, age range. You can be very niche and specific in who you're actually talking to. You can also develop special offers. So on Facebook, you can offer offers that allow people to kind of redeem coupons and things like that. Once they do this, they simply go through the automated kind of process within Facebook where they can actually redeem the coupon. They bring it to your store, they show it to you, they get an email with all the terms and conditions, and you can actually start to see the needle being moved by tracking how many people are actually leveraging the offer that you created on Facebook. So special offers is a great opportunity for small, medium businesses. Definitely recommend you check that out as well. When you're creating your ads, though, you want to ensure BB's restaurant. You look at them, very unique. They stand out. They're not a stock photo with text on top, and this is what you want to do. You want to create content that lures people in, that shows people what your brand's all about, that is a little bit more unique and interesting, and you want it to be something beautiful, because when you're looking at Facebook and you're looking through your newsfeed, there's a lot of content there. You want to create something that stands out. One of the opportunities on Facebook that falls in line with what I was talking about around those custom audiences is retargeting. So what retargeting is, it's when a visitor comes to your website, say it's hotel.com, they visit your website, you would actually cookie them with a tracking pixel, Then after they leave, they're going to start seeing your content. They're going to start seeing your ads on Facebook, bringing them back in. You can do this two ways. You can either use Facebook's tracking pixel directly into their platform, which you can use through custom audiences, or you can use a tool like AdRoll, which is very easy, very straightforward. They'll actually create ads for you. So if you're not a designer, AdRoll will create ads for you, I think up to 6, and they will make them beautiful. They have best practices around what works, and they will create the ads for you. Minimum bid of similar to Facebook, like $5 a day kind of thing. You can run some custom ads and you can see some great results from it. So definitely recommend retargeting. People are more likely to buy if they are seeing your ads after they already demonstrated interest. So say, for example, I'm browsing through the internet. I go to a restaurant's website. I'm thinking about going there, not 100% sure. I leave the website, forget about them, forget all about it completely because I got sidetracked. Now I'm doing something else. I go to Facebook, and then I see that restaurant's ad telling me about their new steak special. I see that, I click on it, I go back to their website, I'm more likely to buy. So it's a great opportunity. What you're also able to do is be very specific with who you target. So if somebody is on your website and they click on a certain special, you can show them that special again on Facebook. You can retarget them and show them only that special that they clicked on. All you have to do is type in the URL as it relates to what they were visiting on your site. So on your website, if it was hotel.com/specials and they were on that page, you tell that to Facebook, you tell that to AdRoll, and they'll actually target those people with an ad that is tailored to them. It's why on Amazon, you ever scrolling through and you read a book, and then, or you're looking at a certain book, and then you go back to Facebook and Amazon is showing you that book again, and maybe they're saying you can get this book for 5% off. It's because they're doing this. They're targeting you based off of your behavior within a website, and I strongly recommend that you check this out and give it a try because the conversion rates on this are through the roof. You have to understand that when people are that far in the funnel, the only thing that stops them is whether or not they got distracted, or maybe they weren't as interested, or they weren't sold, and it's your job to bring them back, and this is a great way to do that. So with Facebook, you're also able to upload an entire email list of people who maybe your past customers or maybe have signed up for your newsletters, and you can actually target them based off of their email. So let's say you have an email list for all of the customers that have ever walked through your restaurant, or let's say you have all of the emails of anybody who has purchased from you. You can take a file that has all of their emails, maybe has their phone numbers, upload them to Facebook, and then Facebook will then show ads to those people who are uploaded to your list. Now, there are some privacy things that you need to be aware of. You should have a privacy policy on your website that says we will be using your email to advertise to you, to kind of tailor our messages to you. That's sort of a legal thing that you should consider and definitely set up. But once you've done that, with all free range, feel free to retarget at people. Upload their content, upload their emails, and then everywhere they go, they're going to be more likely to see your ads than the competition. And what's great about this is if this person has already bought from you in the past, why not turn them into a repeat customer? The way that you can do that is by uploading their emails and their information. If it's someone who, say you have a loyalty program and you've captured emails, these are loyal customers. You should be advertising to them to try to upsell and get them to purchase more products from you. It's a great opportunity, and with Instagram recently being acquired on Facebook, they are actually also allowing you to advertise to those people who are using Instagram at the same time. Twitter advertising is also an opportunity. It's one that I'm not spending a lot of time on because the click-through rates and the actual success of it hasn't been that great, hence why their stock is taking a beating right now. Twitter advertising isn't working as great as Facebook right now. It is an opportunity. It's something that, like I said, I would never suggest that you never try something. It's worth a test. If it works for you, please let me know. I'd love to learn how you're making it work for you to drive real results, but for the most part, people are struggling with Twitter advertising. These are big brands. They've been able to find success. The way that they found success is by using what we would call reactive storytelling. So Valentine's Day, you see Pizza Hut putting up a heart-shaped pizza, relationship goals. The famous saying from, what's the movie? Drawing a blank, the odds are ever in your favor. Hunger Games. They put this up on Red Lobster's page, and again, it's just playing off of reactive storytelling. This content goes viral, but does it really drive a needle as it relates to their product sales? I don't know. One of the other Twitter hacks that I recommend is that you go into Twitter, you type in foodies or something like that. I'm going to quickly show you this. I know we're running late on time, but this is a quick hack that I think everybody needs to know. So if you're setting yourself up on Twitter and you're trying to find people who might be interested in what you're doing, one of the things that people often don't realize is that you can actually go to Twitter, you can type in something like foodie, say you're a restaurant. Once you go in here, you can actually search by accounts, so people who have listed foodie in their profile, and then select near you. And when you do that, you're then seeing only the people who are near you that refer to themselves as foodies. So these are people who you would want to follow. These are people who you would want to connect with. So by following them, you're then increasing the amount of people who you're engaged with and connected to that are actually relevant to your brand and relevant to you. So do searches like entrepreneurship if you're targeting entrepreneurs. Do searches like yogis if you're running a yoga studio. Tea if you run a cafe, or coffee if you're running a cafe. You can look for these people who have a similar interest within a local vicinity. You could even do travel bloggers and find those people and then connect with them, follow them, put your brand on their radar. And then that way you're more likely to have them mention you, share your story, tell your message, and really resonate with kind of the messages that you're sharing, and ultimately share them with their followers as well. So that's a lot of stuff. I know you're probably wondering, okay, Ross, this is crazy. You're talking about Snapchat, you're talking about Instagram, YouTube, Twitter ads, custom audiences. This is a lot. What's right for me? Guys, it goes back to what we were talking about before, and especially what we were talking about in the first session. Think about your audience, understand your goals, figure out your story, and just tell it in a captivating way. I do not recommend that you start doing everything that we talked about. What I do recommend is that you save and bookmark this webinar, come back to it over time as you start to kind of get in the motions of figuring out exactly where you want to go, and use it as a resource where you can come back to time and time again to improve your experience and improve your marketing efforts. But if you can do these things in this order and do it on one solo channel, that's where you need to start. From there, start looking at things like advertising, start looking at influencer outreach, start looking at some of these more advanced tactics to kind of take your brand and your company to the next level, and then you'll be able to find successful. Sometimes you just have to leap. It's going to be scary, but if you can do that, if you can just jump into some of these crazy new tools and some of these crazy different experiments, you'll be able to build wings on your way down and really start to succeed. So I recommend that you take a chance, try something new this year, whether it's Snapchat, whether it's custom audiences on Facebook advertising, whether it's Twitter, you name it. I strongly recommend that you just try something new and give these different opportunities a chance, and I think that you'll really see success. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate your time. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a line on Twitter. Definitely reach out to Tiffany. Tie-ins offers an amazing one-on-one workshop sessions where they actually work with you to kind of take your initial experience to the next level. So I strongly recommend that you reach out to Tiffany at Tie-ins. They can help you get started. It's a very affordable price. Definitely recommend you check that out. And let me know if you have any questions. Drop me a line on Twitter. Check out rossimmonds.com, and again, I'm always happy to chat. So what I'm going to do now is pass it back over to Tiffany, and then we will wrap up by taking any questions that anyone may have.
Perfect. Great. Thanks, Ross. So I do see we have some questions in the question section, so we'll get to those in just a minute. I just wanted to say thank you again for an awesome webinar. The webinar is recorded, so it will be available on tieins.org, or you can visit our YouTube page. And finally, I just wanted to thank everybody for participating today. If you have any questions or comments, or you think the one-on-one mentoring session might be for you, you can give me an email at tiffany@tourism.ca. Thanks, everybody.
All right, so I'm going to dive into some of these questions here. I see one from Donna. Hi, Donna. How do you optimize videos so they render when searches are done? Tags, how are the search bots looking for the information? So the optimization as it relates to the content on YouTube is really built into the description section. So when you do upload a video to YouTube, the area in which you want to focus is right underneath the kind of captions. So let me see if I can find an example of something here that would be optimized. Oh, here's the session from tourism. So you go in here, you can see that there's a description of the webinar. So what we've done with this one is we've actually just used the description itself. So by simply having this text, we're optimizing it for search. One of the things that you can do to take it to the next level would be to add like a transcript to it. Again, it's a lot of additional effort, but it's definitely worth it. I would recommend that you invest the time into kind of learning some of the different tips of the trade, similar to like just adding a URL to your description tends to work well for kind of getting people to go back to your website. Use the keywords that you think that people are more likely to use in your titles as well. So here, this could be enhanced if we simply added the word tourism in Nova Scotia, things like that. So there's a lot of different tips and tricks of the trade that you can use to optimize it. Stephen, how do we save and bookmark this webinar? So right after, probably about maybe tomorrow, I'm not 100% sure on when it will go up, but Tie-ins will be distributing it. Once that's sent out, just save that email, do not delete it, and you'll have access to the webinar for the future. Stephen has a question here. So is an important source for research in advance of a search, but what's the use rate when they're here on the ground? It's high. So people are using their mobile devices, traveling with iPads, traveling with tablets to really start to continue their search experience. So when it comes to on the ground, they're looking for information on what events they should check out. They're looking for information on where they should go for breakfast, where they should go for lunch. They're looking for those very tactical decisions. So you want to create content that answers those questions. You want to ensure that you're there when they say, where should I go for brunch? That's content that is being searched for when on the ground. All right, so I don't think there's any more questions. Again, thank you guys very much for taking part in the webinar. If you enjoyed it, feel free to tweet at Tie-ins, tweet at me as well. Always great to hear feedback or send an email to Tiffany. Let us know what you thought. Thank you so much. Take care.